Greetings, YouTube. I had an interesting request for a video this weekend that I don't know how many people this is going to help, but the beautiful thing about doing YouTube as a side hobby is, I can put out 10 or 15 straight videos that don't get above, 1,000 views, and, it's fine. It's not about views, it's not about money, it's about helping people. And that's why, you can put out a minute or a minute and a half video and hopefully one person finds it helpful. But, besides that, it's just to kind of give back, if you will. And so I have a summoner who has several children and doesn't have time to play MCOC. He spends a lot of his time auto fighting. And so he asked if I could make a video about some of the best champs to auto fight and just what to look for when you auto fight. Now, this may seem obvious on the surface to some people, and maybe it is, but I said sure, I would make him this video. So, again, if this is not your cup of tea, I understand, but maybe, just maybe, at least one person out there will find this beneficial, and that's why I make a video. If it can impact one person's life, then I think it's done its job. So, with that being said, the first thing you want to do is realize when you auto fight, which is one of the best things to happen to the game in the last couple years, it's all about health pool. You know that your champions are going to get hit because they fight like they've never fought in their lives on auto fight. I mean, if you watch an auto fight, it's like the computer doesn't have a brain and it's kind of just wandering around with no rhyme or reason, and you just got to hope that you can, make the fight last, which is a friendly reminder. If you try to auto fight and you're fighting a champion that's close to the PI of the champion that you bring in as an attacker, you're probably going to get knocked out or close to. Auto fighting was not invented to bring a 5,000 rated 4-star against a 5,000 rated 4-star. You're probably going to lose that matchup. It was made to take this blade here in Heroic, for example, against like a 1,000 or 2,000 level enemy. And I still got to say, I have had some of the worst, weirdest auto fight experiences lately where I'll fight like Ghost Rider, who's a terrible auto fight champion because he just doesn't do that much damage on his own with the combo. And my 16,270 rated Ghost Rider will fight like a 2,300 rated Deadpool X-Force. And I'll check, and Ghost Rider would have lost half his health during the auto fight. And I'm like, how the heck is that even possible? So, trust me, I get the frustration of auto fight. So, I'm going to use my 4-star roster because that's how many great champions I have in terms of, I guess maybe if I really want to do this right, I'd do 3-star, but whatever. The health pools for 4 stars a little bit larger than 3 stars for sure, especially at 565. We're just going to go through each class. I'm just going to kind of talk about a couple of my favorite auto fight champs and why. So, Thing is a great auto fight champ because Thing allows you, once you get to those rock stacks, to have the indestructible, and that can take the chance to gain the advantage when the attacker on auto fight is being hit in a combo, and that can end the match. So Thing is a good auto fight champion. I've also learned that Hulk can be a good auto fight champion because, especially, you get the guy awakened, he's up some SIGs. Even if he gets down to that 20% health threshold, he becomes stronger, and so that can certainly help. Electro is another good auto fight champion because you're causing that Thorns-like damage every time somebody hits him. But I think my favorite auto fight champion of the science class is Fathead himself, MODOK, because MODOK has that auto block that can come in handy when you're just watching some guy aimlessly try to sway his arms in auto fight mode. So, if you have champions like Thing that have those indestructible charges that eventually kick in. I also want to say that if you have your Luke Cage awakened, he can be great because he starts off the fight being able to take a hit with that indestructible before he actually takes damage. It kind of reminds me of a science version in that sense of, say, Juggernaut or Unstoppable Colossus if awakened. And then also Invisible Woman can be a good auto fight champion if you start off the fight invisible. And, special shout out to Abomination, especially when awakened, because you have the ability for most champions to not have poison immunity, and so even when you get hit, you'll cause some poison damage. So, we are jumping to the skill class now, where I have to say, auto fight-wise, Agent Venom is one of my favorite. because that tenacity shrugs off quite a few of the annoyances that you would face and makes for a hopefully quicker fight in auto fight mode. The same can be true in a certain sense with Nicholas Fury, because Awakened, it's like you get two Nick Furies in one, and so you can afford to get hit more, knowing that he's going to eventually regen his health back to 100% with that Awakened ability. Korg is another auto fight tank. He is top 5, maybe best auto fight champions, just for the sake that he doesn't take a lot of damage and he has that Thorns-like recoil, shall you say, when you hit him. But I will say with Korg, just like somebody we're going to talk about here in a minute, Iron Man Infinity War, they don't do a lot of damage in terms of their basic attacks, so that is the drawback. But at the same time, Korg can be somebody that you can put in, and if they're a good defender in that sense, they're probably going to be pretty good for auto fight. I also have to say that I used to put the Arena Punisher on auto fight all the time because of that Awakened ability to survive. And it has saved me a couple of times when I was driving, for example, which if you're driving and auto fighting, I would strongly recommend keeping as many hands on the wheel as possible. I am not endorsing that, just for the legal record. Black Panther Civil War, kind of a honorable mention because of the reflective stun. And besides that, I also think Kingpin can be an honorable mention for sure as the big fatty that likes to shrug off the occasional debuff. Crossbones might be a good choice, but you never know with him. So I would say Kingpin over Crossbones in my book for what it's worth. For Mutant Champs, Iceman, particularly Awakened, can be a great auto fight champ with that cold snap damage. I also think that there are some honorable mentions in this category that you may not think of. Colossus now and Emma Frost are certainly up there for champions that aren't going to take as much damage in the auto fight sphere, particularly now that Colossus has all those immunities. Nightcrawler, I have a 6-star Nightcrawler that I sometimes put on auto fight, and he can be good because of his deceptive damage and also that very annoying to face, but not when you're fighting on auto fight evade. And then Mr. Sinister also is an auto fight honorable mention as somebody that converts regeneration from critical hits. All right, we are jumping to the Cosmic class. I always say anytime you have a champion that regens health, they help on auto fight because you're going to get hit. And so Superior Iron Man actually is a pretty solid auto fight consideration. Same thing is true with the old Mrs. Marvel and Captain Marvel, because the more power they get from taking hits, the stronger their damage is. Definitely the opposite of a glass cannon champion like Rocket Raccoon or Wasp. And then on top of that, Venom is a good auto fight champion with that health getting low. You get that True Strike ability. We're not going to talk about Silver Surfer in any case. And Medusa is a top auto fight champion when you consider the ability once she's awakened to get that auto block. We all know that so well, right? Corvus can be a solid auto fight champion considering the crits as well, particularly if you have on the auto fight path him to get submissions, like if he's faced a mutant or tech champion, certainly an Avenger. And then I also think, I haven't tried this yet, but Annihilus seems like he would be a good choice. And then, some tanks if you have to. King Groot and Groot actually aren't the worst auto fight champions because of the lack of stun duration, though I think I would prefer King Groot for sure over regular Groot. And now we're going to move to the tech class, where I want to touch on a couple of champions. Again, Iron Man Awakened and Iron Man Infinity War are two solid champions for auto fight. Ultron is as well, given the regen that he gets at 25 and 50% health. Sentinel could be solid, not only because he gets stronger as the fight goes on, but he also has some nice immunities. I haven't tried this before, but I think Darkhawk and Warlock make good choices for auto fight champions. And Hulkbuster, believe it or not, he can be a tank, right? He can take quite a few hits. And so Hulkbuster is an honorable mention in this category as well. And then last but certainly not least, the Mystic class. Let's just talk about a few honorable mentions. Mephisto with that awesome incinerate damage and also get some regen is a good choice. Scarlet Witch can be a solid choice, though I actually think on auto fight I prefer a Mephisto over Scarlet Witch. Doctor Doom would make a lot of sense for the auto fight feature. I would not recommend, as I said, Ghost Rider, because also with the regen, you kind of need to be able to control that heavy attack and you don't get the beauty of that in Autofight mode. Juggernaut awakened an unstoppable Colossus because of the unstoppable at the beginning of the fight. Certainly could help. I think Dormammu is kind of an honorable mention as well. And I'm sure that I have missed some people. Mordo, even, with that stun reflectivity, might be able to last longer in some cases than others, though I wish he actually had more damage. But I wanted this to be a fairly quick video, and even after I tried to go fast, it still is at 10 minutes, which is longer than I usually prefer. So I'm going to end this video, and again, maybe this only helps 1 or 2 people, but I still think if it helps 1 or 2 people, the rule on my channel is it's worth putting out there because it's not about views or clicks or monetary compensation as much as it is about keeping people engaged in a channel, having community grow, and helping people. I mean, that's why I do what I do, and the beauty of being a college professor is I don't have to worry about videos making a certain amount of views to pay the bills and keep the lights on. So that's kind of how I prefer it. I can't imagine the stress that YouTubers have who just do YouTube. That would probably cause me a panic attack weekly from just the randomness that occurs when you put out a video. You truly don't know how something's going to do until you post it. All right, I'm done rambling. Thanks for watching. For those of you who requested this video, I hope that it helps you in your quest to balance handling your children and auto-fighting a mobile video game.